Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be discussing the Arushi murder case, one of the most sensational and controversial criminal cases in Indian history. In this video, we will delve into the details of the case, explore the evidence and theories, and try to unravel the truth behind this tragic incident. The crime scene. The Arushi murder case began on the night of May 15, 2008, when 14-year-old Arushi Talwar was found murdered in her bedroom at her home in Noida, India. Her parents, both dentists, were also at home and had been attacked. The crime scene was a gruesome and perplexing one, with no clear motive or suspect. The crime scene of the Arushi murder case was a small apartment in Noida, a suburb of Delhi, India. The apartment belonged to the Talwar family, and was located on the second floor of the Jalvayu Vihar complex. When the police arrived at the scene on the morning of May 16, 2008, they found the body of Arushi Talwar, a 14-year-old girl, on her bed in her room. She had been brutally killed, with multiple stab wounds on her body. The police then started to look for the Talwar's domestic servant, Hemraj, who was missing from the apartment. However, to their surprise, they found Hemraj's body on the terrace of the apartment building the next day. He had also been murdered in a similar brutal manner. The crime scene was heavily contaminated, with many people, including family members, friends, and neighbors, entering and exiting the apartment. The police failed to seal off the crime scene immediately after discovering the bodies, which allowed many people to come in contact with the evidence and contaminate it. The crime scene investigation was also criticized for being haphazard and unprofessional. The police did not follow basic protocols, such as wearing gloves and collecting evidence carefully. This led to doubts and questions about the credibility of the forensic evidence presented in the trial. Despite the contamination and poor investigation, the crime scene was a crucial piece of evidence in the Arushi murder case. The forensic evidence, including DNA samples, fingerprints, and bloodstains, played a critical role in the eventual conviction of the Talwar parents. The investigation. The investigation into the Arushi murder case was complex and controversial, with multiple theories and suspects emerging over time. The police initially suspected the family's domestic servant, who was missing after the incident, but later arrested the parents on suspicion of murder. The case was later handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, which led to a long and convoluted investigation. The investigation into the Arushi murder case was a long and complicated one, with multiple theories and suspects emerging over time. Here are some of the key details of the investigation. Initial suspects. The police initially suspected Hemraj, the family's domestic servant, who was missing after the incident. They found his body on the terrace of the Talwar's apartment building the next day. The police also looked into the possibility of Arushi's boyfriend being involved in the crime. Parents under suspicion. After a few days of investigation, the police arrested Arushi's parents, Rajesh and Nupur Talwar, on suspicion of murder. The police alleged that Rajesh had caught Arushi and Hemraj in a compromising position and had killed them both in a fit of rage. Flawed investigation. The investigation was criticized for being flawed from the beginning. The crime scene was contaminated due to the presence of multiple people, including friends and relatives of the Talwars. The police also did not seal the crime scene immediately after the discovery of the bodies. CBI takes over. The case was later handed over to the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, which led to a long and convoluted investigation. The CBI investigated multiple theories, including the involvement of a group of domestic servants, but eventually settled on the theory that the Talwars were responsible for the murders. Forensic evidence. The CBI's case against the Talwars was largely based on forensic evidence, including DNA samples, bloodstains, and fingerprints. However, the defense argued that the forensic evidence was inconclusive and unreliable. Trial and verdict. The trial of the Arushi murder case lasted for over 4 years and was closely watched by the media and the public. In 2013, the Talwars were found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Appeal and acquittal. In 2017, the Talwars were acquitted by the Allahabad High Court, which cited a lack of evidence against them. The case has since been closed, with no further investigation or prosecution. However, the case continues to be a controversial and divisive one in India, with many questions and doubts surrounding the verdict. The trial and verdict. The trial of the Arushi murder case was closely watched by the media and the public, and lasted for over 4 years. The CBI presented a case against the parents, alleging that they had committed the murders in a fit of rage after discovering their daughter in a compromising situation with the servant. However, the defense argued that there was no evidence to support this theory, and that the investigation had been flawed from the beginning. The aftermath. The Arushi murder case continues to be a controversial and divisive one in India, with many questions and doubts surrounding the verdict. The case has been the subject of several books, documentaries, and films, with each offering its own perspective on the events and the people involved. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Arushi murder case remains a tragic and complex mystery, with no clear answers or closure for the families involved. While the verdict may have been delivered, the case continues to raise questions about the investigation, the justice system, and the media's role in shaping public opinion. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching.